Don't tell me he's been dead this whole time. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. I'm gonna go crazy.
We'll go get him. But she didn't smile. She said he had died the year before.
Stop! Stop! Oh, this should be really good. I don't know. I haven't had no cluck experiences or terrifying when I was a child.
When I was about 9 years old, I lived with my mom and little sister in a small house in a quiet town.
Right.
The street was mostly safe, and kids would ride their bikes outside in the summer. But even back then, there were things that didn't feel right about the house. My mom used to say it was old, and old houses make noises. But some of the things I remember from that...
Nah, that's sus. And mom was already in cahoots. And she working with the cluckies.
didn't sound like house noises. They sound like something else. Something I still don't really know how to explain. The first thing started one night when I couldn't sleep. I was lying in my bed with a blanket pulled up to my chin, staring at the little glow-in-the-dark stars on my ceiling.
Right.
My room wasn't very big, just a bed, a dresser, and a toy chest near the window. I remember looking at the shadows on the wall from the trees outside. The branches swayed whenever the wind blew, and I told myself that's what I was seeing. But then I noticed one shadow wasn't moving like the others. It was in the corner, down low near my toy chest.
Oh.
At first, I thought it was a pile of clothes or one of my big stuffed animals. I almost laughed at myself because I thought I was just being a scared kid, but then I blinked and the shadow was gone. I remember feeling cold, like the kind of cold that comes from the inside of your body, not the air. I pulled the blanket over my head and fell asleep. The next morning, I didn't even think about it until I saw my toy chest. It was standing open, like someone had been looking inside.
All right now.
I never left it open because my mom would yell if toys spilled out. I closed it and didn't say anything. A few weeks later, my sister, who was only 5, told my mom she didn't like the man in the closet.
Oh, God.
I basically froze when she said it because she said it so casually, as if it were just a fact. My mom brushed it off and said little kids imagine things, but I saw my sister's face.
What? I lie to you not. If my child told me, I don't like the man in my room. I don't like the man under my bed. I don't like the man in my closet. I don't like the man in the... No! I'm grabbing either everybody in the house or at least my child and we... Oh, yeah. Like, my sister said that to me, or my brother said that to me, right? Or somehow my dog said that to me. And my sister, brother, whoever, cousin, whoever, told one of my parents, I don't like the man in my room, I don't like the man in my closet, I don't like the man under my bed. And our mom just brushed it off. I'm grabbing my sister, I'm grabbing my brother, and we running. We're running. We not looking back. We signing divorce papers. We signing all that shit. You're not my mother today. You're not going to be for a long time. What you talking about?
Tell she wasn't making it up. She said he would stand in the closet at night and whisper, but she couldn't hear the words. My mom tucked her in that night and said a prayer with her, but she didn't check the closet. Later that night, I woke up because I heard something dragging across my floor.
If your daughter, if your brother, whoever is in the house with you, describes in great detail about what they see in their room, I'm talking detail on detail. And you talking me in Go to sleep, baby.
Pulling their nails across the wood. I was too scared to move, but the sound stopped right by my bed. I was sure if I looked over the side, I'd see something staring up at me.
Ow, Jesus.
I just froze there, clutching the blanket until I fell asleep again. The next morning, there were long scratches on the floor right by the side of my bed.
Oh my God.
They were fresh, like someone had carved into the wood. I remember running to show my mom, but she got angry. She said I must have been playing with something sharp or dragging furniture.
Mom about to piss me off. There's literal evidence right there. Mom, say something else. Now I'm starting to think Mom is in cahoots. Now I'm starting to think Mom is just like what the hell? What you got going on, huh? What are you gaining from this? Like, what are you getting from this? Like, what are you talking about right now? We're giving you details on details. We're telling you what we're experiencing. There's proof. Okay, we out of here because we can't do this. Either Mom is in cahoots or Mom is in cahoots. There's no other way about it. Like, she working with the Cluckies.
I swore I hadn't, but she didn't believe me. After that, the nights got worse. I would hear faint whispers, almost like a radio on low volume.
After that, I just hauled it out of there. I hauled ass out of the house, and I found a new family. It's just that you're not about to get me caught up, Mom. You got it. You know what, speaking about scratches, I can't stand, I know I'm not the only one. I cannot stand when people use their nails to scratch, anything. Well, not anything. Like my desk. I don't like that. When people just be scratching, especially like the chalkboard. Or like, you ever remember that Spider-Man 2 scene when Doc Ock, he was getting operated on, but then he woke up and his arms just started going crazy and attacking the doctors and nurses. But one scene in particular, one of the arms grabbed the nurse or the doctor on the floor, and the arms was dragging her. When she was dragging like her nails were scratching the floor, and Jesus.
Would come from my closet. Sometimes my sister would cry in her room, and when I ran in, she would be pointing at the corner, saying, "He's there, he's there." I never saw him, but I believed her. You know when someone's watching you and the hairs on your arms stand up? That's how it felt. The scariest night was in the middle of winter. I woke up and saw my bedroom door was open, even though I always shut it tight. I could see the hallway light because my mom left one on for us at night. But then, as I watched, the light in the hall went out. I thought maybe the bulb turned out. Then I heard footsteps coming down the hall. They stopped outside my door. I wanted to scream for my mom, but nothing came out. The door creaked, and I saw a tall, dark shape lean in. Just its head poking into the room. I shut my eyes and pretended to be asleep. When I opened them again, the door was closed and I was alone. In the morning, I asked my mom if she had come into my room.
At this point, not at this point though, but like a few points ago, you should have just left or called social services. What's the acronym for that? Social service, SS social services. What's the CPS? No. Oh, wait. CPS, Child Protective Service. Okay, call them.
She said no. She had been asleep all night. My sister said she saw the man again, standing by her bed. We told my mom together, and she finally looked worried.
Wow.
She lit a candle and said a prayer in each room of the house. Things were quiet for a little while.
Stop praying. Stop praying. It's not doing nothing. It's not. As far as we know, you letting more negative energy in this house. Stop praying. Stop praying. Just, it's not, we see through your bullshit. We see it, Mom. You can't hide it no more. You can't hide it no more. You are natural born club. I hope you think we was never gonna realize that you was a cluck ass. It was only a matter of time, Ma. Dead ass. I'm so dead ass. It was only a matter of time. Cause good Jesus, man. Where's Dad at? Where's the dad in this story? Maybe she got him. I don't know.
For that, but it didn't last. One afternoon, I came home from school before my mom.
Or maybe it's the dad that's doing all that cluck stuff in the house. Ooh, that's a theory.
I was sitting on the couch doing homework when I heard the sound of the toy chest in my room slam shut.
I'm out of there! I'm out! This story is ridiculous.
The thing is, nobody else was home. I hoped it was just the wind, but when I walked down the hall, I saw my bedroom door was wide open.
You got it.
My toy chest was closed, but all my toys were scattered on the floor like someone had dumped them out.
Man, come on.
I backed away and waited outside until my mom came home. When I told
If I hear the word mom, mother, moms, mom dukes, mother, come out your mouth, I might end the reaction right here and now.
she still didn't believe me and said the cat knocked things over.
The cat?
Years later, after we moved out, I asked my mom if she ever experienced anything in that house. She hesitated, then said yes. She said sometimes she would wake up and see a shadow standing in her door.
So why we This is crazy, yo. This is just the first story. Why we not out of here? Shit. Maybe everybody in that house should just go their separate ways, including my sister.
She said she never told us because she didn't want to scare us. But she admitted she believed there was something wrong with that house.
Wow.
She said she thought it was a man, someone who used to live there. She never said much more, but I know what I saw, and I know what my sister saw too.
Oh yeah?
Even now, as an adult, when I think about that time, I feel sick in my stomach. It wasn't imagination. It was something real, and it wanted us to know it was there. Sometimes late at night when I can't sleep, I still hear the sound of nails dragging across the floor.
I really hope that wasn't the dad. You know? Can you imagine that's the dad the whole time?
When I was 10 years old, my family moved into a bigger house because my mom had just gotten remarried and we needed more space.
Right.
The house was nice, newer than the one we lived in before, and it was in a quiet neighborhood with a lot of trees. I thought I would be happy there.
You thought?
At first, everything seemed normal, but then little things started happening that made me feel like the house wasn't right. My bedroom was at the end of the hall. It had 2 big windows that faced the backyard and a closet that was deeper than the one I had before.
Right.
I liked it until the first night I slept there. I woke up around midnight because I heard something moving in the closet. It wasn't loud, Just soft shuffling, like clothes being brushed against.
That's enough.
I stared at the closet and told myself it was just the house settling.
So we all know that on Earth, there's more water than land.
That's not true.
How so?
There's more land under the water.
Walk out the door, you see someone that you know, and they ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Ciao, boo.
I know it sounds cliche, but most people, even as children, would assume small sounds coming from here and there in a house are just...
Hey! I don't know why thought just popped into my head. It has nothing to do with this story. Me and my coworkers, we was talking about, we got on a topic of like just eating your woman out, right? Yeah, you heard that right. And just like just doing all that sexual stuff with your woman, right? And I was like, no, one of my coworkers was like, he talking about me. He's married. He get poom poom. And then my other coworker was like, well, I mean, that don't mean, you know what I mean? I was like, yeah, that's right. Just because you married don't mean you getting poom poom. There's a lot of married people out here that's not having sex with their spouses. You know? They're not. They either getting it from somebody else or they get one up. That's crazy. Our like, you know what's crazy? We've been together for 5.5 years. It's still great. It's still amazing. Every single time. I'm sorry. I'm getting off topic.
house noises that you hear every day. But then I saw the door move. It didn't swing open, but it shivered like someone had lightly pressed on it from the inside.
You see, and that's this bullshit I'm talking about. You know the thing that separates me from them in these stories is that Eggers are not running. Eggers are not hauling it. They're not dusting. They're not sprinting. They're not nothing. You hear some, you see some, and you not out of there. You're not out. Like, literally, if I would have heard the shuffling, I probably would have been out of there. I definitely would have been out of there if one of the doors moved. Or like I heard something crazy. I'm outside of the house and police are already on their way. Like, I'm gonna be as quiet as possible, you know. Or I'll be like, oh, I gotta use the bathroom. I'm gonna say that like real loud. Hey, I gotta use the bathroom. And I'll leave the house immediately.
I wanted to run to my mom's room, but I was frozen. I stayed that way.
I'm not gonna lie to you. After the first story, I'm tired of people, of y'all mentioning y'all moms, calling out to y'all moms. Y'all mom's not doing shit! I'm sorry.
Until I fell back asleep, still staring at the closet. The next morning, the closet door was cracked open just a little, even though I had shut it tight.
Come on.
I asked my mom if she had gone in there, and she said no.
She didn't go.
She said maybe the air vents pushed it, but
This is the second story that I'm pretty sure the mom is in cahoots, because why would you say some dumbass shit like that? Maybe the air vents pushed it? What kind of air do y'all have in your house? That's strong ass hair. Air. What kind of air is that? Because I want that, to be honest with you. It be hot sometimes. What kind of air, like... What kind of air are y'all dealing with for the air to open up a door that was already shut? Get the clock out my face.
it wasn't the air vents. The nights after that got worse. I started hearing tapping on the window glass. At first, I thought it was tree branches, but when I looked, there were no branches near the window. The tapping would go on for minutes, and when I pulled the blanket over my head, it would stop.
Wow.
I tried to ignore it until one night I finally peeked out. I saw a pale hand pressed against the window. It was on the outside, but the window was on the second floor, way too high for anyone to reach without a ladder. The hand stayed there for a long time, just pressed, without moving. Then it slid down slowly and disappeared.
Slid down?
I didn't sleep at all that night. I told my mom, and she started cracking up laughing when I told her. She didn't believe...
Well, how about you be in my situation and I be in your... Like, how about we switch roles, you know? And I start cracking up laughing. Matter of fact, how about I just go ahead and sign these divorce papers because you're not my mother no more. I'm out of this house. CPS, where you at? Come get me ASAP. Please. She started cracking up laughing. Well, how about the person that was outside of my glass, outside of my window, come in here and they crack you open? Since you want to start cracking laughing. This is the second time I mentioned CPS. This is the second time I mentioned that the mom was in cahoots. Come and get the hell on.
For a second. When she saw that I wasn't just saying it as a prank or a joke, she leaned more into trying to convince me that I was probably in a half-asleep state and seeing things from my dream.
Oh, no.
I knew that was a load of horseshit.
Nah, yeah.
My stepdad didn't believe me either.
What?
He said I was making it up for attention, and he also got a laugh out of it.
They working
But
together.
I started noticing he kept the hallway light on at night, so maybe he didn't feel as safe as he pretended. A month later, my little brother, who was 4, started talking about the white lady. He would say she came into his room and sat on his bed. My mom thought it was just his imagination, but one night I heard him screaming. I ran in and saw him curled up under his blanket crying. When he finally calmed down, he said the white lady had been standing by his door, just staring at him.
Jesus.
He said her eyes were all black. I believed him because of what I had seen at my window. I started sleeping with the blanket over my head every night, but that didn't stop the dreams. I began to dream of the white lady too. She would stand in the corner of my room and whisper my name. Her voice was dry, like leaves rubbing together. Sometimes I would wake up and still hear it, faint but definitely real. One night I woke up and saw her standing at the foot of my bed.
Oh,
She was taller than anyone
Jesus!
I had ever seen. Her head almost touched the ceiling. She wore a long white dress that moved even though the air was still. Her hair was black and stringy, and her face was pale like chalk. Her eye...
Yeah, okay. Yeah, if my child is describing something like that detail, yeah, we out the house. We moving out the house. We moving out either we moving out the house, or the Adidas guys or Adidas Prius is going to be cleansing this house because ain't no fucking way. I strongly believe the mom and stepdad is in cahoots. You can't tell me otherwise.
like empty black holes. I tried to scream, but nothing came out. I shut my eyes, and when I opened them again, she was gone.
No.
But my closet door was wide open. After that, I couldn't go in my closet anymore. I begged my mom to let me sleep in her room, but she said I need to learn how to be brave.
See, cause you need to learn. You need to learn. Oh, Jeff, you need to learn how to be brave. You need to learn how to be brave. You need to learn how to be brave. You just said that. I really wish you can see what I saw. You saw what I saw. You told me you need to be brave. After that, I'm grabbing myself and my little brother. We out of the house. We out of the house. Cluck my mom. Cluck my stepdad. Cluck this house.
I think she didn't want to admit she was scared too.
My asshole.
The worst night came during a storm. Heavy rain and loud wind. I woke up to the sound of my window creaking. When I looked, the window was slowly sliding open, even though it was locked. I could see the lock turning by itself. The window opened all the way, and
You know what's crazy about this? The title is 3 Disturbing Childhood Memories. Which means these memories are very detailed. I'll lie to you not, they're probably still traumatized to this day.
the white lady climb in. She didn't move like a person. She floated. Her feet never touched the floor. She drifted toward my bed and leaned down until her face was right in front of mine. I felt her cold breath on my skin. She whispered my name again, and this time I screamed as loud as I could. My mom and stepdad came running in, but when they turned on the light, the window was closed and locked, and no one else was there. They yelled at me for scaring everyone, but I could see in their faces that they were worried. The weird thing about that part of the story is that I don't vividly remember what happened between the moment I saw that lady floating towards me and my screaming. The best I can explain it is that I sort of blacked out for a moment before remembering screaming and having my parents rush into the room. My window was closed again, which would suggest to people that it was just a night terror. That's what my parents believed it was, I think. My mom started taking me to therapy for a while because they were worried about me. We lived in that house for 3 more years, and I never got used to it. My brother stopped talking about
You
this.
should have said they lived in a house for 3 more years. I lived somewhere else with a brand new family. Fuck what you talking about.
Lady, but I think it was because he was too scared, not because she stopped visiting. Sometimes I would hear him crying at night and saying, "Go away." I think he just also didn't want to be forced into going to therapy. Sometimes when it storms at night, I still get scared to even get up to go to the bathroom or get water. I'll glance over at corners of the room, making sure I don't see something tall lurking there.
Man,
It goes to show how these kinds of things stick with you into adulthood. I'd be more open to believing it was simply night terrors if it weren't for the fact that I saw that hand on my window before my little brother even first mentioned the white lady. I guess this is just one of those freakish experiences that cannot be explained.
I think that experience is going to stay with you forever. Name's John. So why not just say John?
When I was 8, I rode my bike every day after school. I lived on a quiet street with small houses and big trees.
So we did that every day. There's probably a few people out there looking at you. Like, from the comfort of their home. Or probably on their patio or something. Somebody's out there. If you're doing that every single day, somebody's watching you on some cluck shit. On some like sus shit. It gotta be at least one person watching you. On some gay.
I learned every crack in the sidewalk. I learned where the mailman stopped. One house I liked was down the block. I had to ride near the corner of the block to get a view of the yard. There was a long driveway and a wide lawn. An older man stood in that driveway most afternoons. He'd always wear a hat. He'd stand where the driveway met the sidewalk and look down the street.
See?
When I rode by, he would say hi. He never came onto the sidewalk. He never stepped off his driveway. He would call out and wave and then go back to watching his yard. I always waved back. My mother told me to never cross the street by myself, so I never crossed to actually speak to the man face to face, and the man knew that. He would call to me from his place and ask about school.
What?
He would ask about my bike.
Shut
He
up.
asked if I liked the bell on my new red bike.
Shut up.
I even remember once he told me a joke about a cat that made me laugh.
Shut up.
We talked for weeks like that. The conversations were short. They were always from his driveway to the curb. He seemed to know small things about me without me saying them.
See what I'm
For
saying?
example, the fact that I had a little brother, or my dad got a new car. I never told him these things. I thought maybe he had seen us from down the block or something, like he was just a neighbor who watched the street.
No.
One day I got a brand new bike. It was red with a shiny bell, like I mentioned before. I rode down the block slow, and he called out, "Nice bike." He asked if I wanted to race to the corner.
What?
I told him no, because my mom would be angry. He smiled and said, "One day."
Whoa!
After that, we talked about small things. He told me about a bird that liked his fence, and then about a rule about never stepping on a certain stone. Then he told me a story about a dog that would always bring a slipper.
That's a whole lot of talking. How old is he? You say old? But you're 8. So I guess anybody older than you, like, I guess anybody that's like, I don't know, you're 8. So what's considered old and you're 18? $20, I think, to somebody that's 8 years old, I would consider you to be old. You know? Because my ideal, because I'm 30-something. I forgot how old I was. I think anybody that's like 60 and up, 50? I want to say 50. You're old. Or either late 50s, early 60s. You old.
He sounded like someone who had time to watch small things. I started looking for him when I was on my bike. Some afternoons he was there and sometimes he wasn't. Then one week he stopped coming out. I rode down the block past the house and no one stood there.
He died.
The curtains in the front window were closed.
He got chopped up.
I slowed down and looked at the driveway, and it was kind of weird not seeing the man there.
Oh.
I wanted to ask my mother if I could cross the street.
Oh.
She said no. She said the road was not for unsupervised kids.
Oh.
Anyway, a few days later, I saw a woman in the backyard of that house. I had never seen anyone in that yard before. I had to ride around the corner to see her. She had her hair tied back.
She
held a watering can.
She ate him.
I had to assume she was watering flowers back there.
Oh.
I stopped.
No. She's not just watering flowers. She watering that nigga's grave. She clucked him up. And now she buried him. And now she watering where she are. Oh, God. I mean, he was a little sus, but damn. Shit crazy. I want to move to Africa. Like, I legit want to move to Africa. Somewhere in Africa. I don't know. America is not it. I don't know when did it... That was so random. I don't know why I just thought about that.
The street, so she would not see me too close. I wanted to call across the road like I always did, but I didn't. I don't know if I was too shy or scared of what my mother would say if I were staying out too late. The woman didn't seem to notice me any more than I noticed her, though. A few days later, I rode by again, and the woman was on the back porch. She had a mug in her hands. I sat on my bike and watched for a bit. Then she opened a small side door and went around the house. I pedaled slowly to the corner and waited where the sidewalk curved.
Something not right. Obviously something's not right, but hold on, okay. As clear as day, something is not right. She did something to that old man. She had to. I don't know if she's drinking his bodily fluids or what. Something is off. She did something to that man. I don't know what, but she did something.
Block just to ensure my mom wasn't outside. Then I decided I would quickly cross the street. I pushed my pedals and crossed like my life depended on it. The house looked bigger from up close. The driveway was long and sloped down to the road. I felt like I was not allowed to be there.
You wasn't.
I stopped at the end of the driveway near the back gate. The woman heard me. She turned and saw a small boy with a red bike standing at the gate. She looked surprised, but not angry. She came to the gate and opened it, and she asked what I was doing back there. I told her about the man on the driveway and that he would used to say hi when I would bike past. I told her he knew my name and that he said he would race me one day. She wiped her hands on her dress like she had been working and then said the man I described sounded like her husband. I smiled, thinking she would say he went on a trip or he's inside.
He better not have been dead this whole time. You're lying. You say he was real and he died recently. Don't tell me he's been dead this whole time. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. I'm gonna go crazy.
We'll go get him. But she didn't smile. She said he had died the year before.
Ow! So what was I talking to? Was I talking to? Who the cluck was I talking to? Who the cluck was I looking at? But where was she at this whole time though?
She said he died in his chair. His name was Harold. I felt a cold space open in my chest. I asked her if she had a picture. I wanted to see him. She went inside and returned with a small frame. The photograph showed a man with the same hat and the same broad smile. He actually bore a resemblance to the man I'd always seen. Then the woman said the photo was new, taken only a couple of years ago. She said her husband had a scar across his cheek since he was young. I looked at the photo close, and the man in the picture had a thin, pale scar from ear to mouth. I remembered the man on the driveway. He had no scar. He had a round, plain face and smooth skin. The hat matched and the smile matched, but the scar did not. I told her I once saw a mark on the man's face, but I thought he rubbed his cheek once. She said that that scar had been there for a long time, but that he'd hide it under stubble sometimes. She said again that her husband had died and that no one else lived in the house. She said she had moved back last summer to take care of the garden, and that she's never seen or heard anyone standing in the driveway. I honestly started to get kind of scared at this point. I thanked her and backed down the driveway. I didn't look back into the yard again. I rode home slow and put the bike in the garage. The bike ride back was kind of like how when you almost get into a car accident, you'll drive home the rest of the way in silence with the radio off. My mom didn't ask any questions when I got home. She just told me to be careful. That night I couldn't sleep. I thought about the man with the hat. I thought about his laugh and the way he said my name, and I thought about the scar in the photograph. The next day I went by the house and the curtains were open. Sunlight touched the porch and driveway, but no one stood in the driveway. I waved from the corner, but no one waved back, so I pedaled away. For a while, nothing else happened. I tried to forget. I made new routes on my bike. I talked with kids on other blocks. Weeks passed. Then one night, I woke up and heard my name. It sounded like someone outside the house near my window. The voice was familiar. It said my name like the man across the street used to say it. I sat up fast and my head started spinning. Over the light sound of raindrops outside, I knew for a fact I was hearing my name being repeatedly called. I shouted for my mother and then threw the covers over myself, hiding. She came in a hurry and sat by the bed. I told her about the voice outside my window. She rubbed my back and told me it was the wind. To make me feel better, she went to the window and lifted the blinds. She said there wasn't anyone out there, so I went over to check myself. There was a light rain outside, but other than that, my mom was right. My father got up and checked the locks to the windows and doors. He looked outside with a flashlight, which made me feel better. They said there was no one out there. When I insisted I heard a voice, they said perhaps the most typical thing a parent would say to a scared child, that I dreamed it. The next morning my throat hurt from shouting the night before. I told my friends at school, and they laughed at me for implying I believed in ghosts. One friend dared me to stand in the driveway of that house at night and call his name.
Wow.
I did not take that dare. Days passed and nothing happened, so I moved on. The years went on and the street changed. Houses sold and the woman's house stood empty for a little while. I once saw movers taking boxes out. Later on, new people were painting the front. The long driveway was still there, but it had new cars. I rode past and did not look for a man in a hat. I got older. I learned other routes. I learned the names of new neighbors and their dogs, and eventually, at the age of 18, I moved out for college. I never moved back to that house because my parents sold it while I was in college, but the memory of that man sits like a small stone in my chest. I wonder why I didn't ask the woman for more pictures or go back to press her for more details. I guess in that moment, I was scared to wonder if I'd been talking to a ghost. I didn't cross that street again for a long time. I told this story to one or two people later in life, and they even asked why I didn't go back and ask that woman more, or why I didn't tell the woman everything I remembered. Maybe they were right. Maybe I should have been braver. Maybe I should have asked more questions about the scar, or to see a wedding photo. But I was 8. I wasn't really thinking that way. A few years ago, I drove down the block just for the hell of it.
Oh, Jesus.
A child was riding a bike near the corner. The driveway was empty. For a moment, I wanted to stop. I wanted to ask if anyone had stood there and said hi. I wanted to know if anyone else had heard a voice in the rain. I wanted a small answer that would close the gap. But I didn't stop. I just kept driving. The memory stays as it was, and I try my best to suppress it these days.
Damn. So he said he went back and he saw, what did he say he saw? Hold on. He said he saw what? He went back.
A few years ago, I drove down the block just for the hell of it. A child was riding a bike near the corner. The driveway was empty.
A child was riding a bike near the corner. That's crazy. Like, it's I guess it's pretty normal, but in your situation, that's like, to see that, a child riding another bike near that where you was riding, that's kind of crazy. I kind of feel a certain way. Like, granted, the relationship, I would say, not relationship, the blank, I don't know what you would call this, but the blank between the boy and the old man, I kind of feel a certain way. I don't know how to explain it. It seemed like a real genuine, granted, it's a little sus, but it seemed like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain what I'm thinking. I want to say it seemed genuine. I mean, but you're 8 years. You was 8 years old. Maybe you sensed his spirit or his presence, and his presence was calming or something. I don't know. That's so vivid. That is such a vivid memory. That last story is insane. He's been dead this whole time. I'm not saying that the wife has, I don't know. That's the first 2 stories. Your mom get the mothers can get the clock on my face. This last story, you couldn't tell that you wasn't talking to nobody like a physical person. Do y'all think the wife was in cahoots? Do y'all think the wife was sus? Y'all think she did something? What? That a story like that is gonna stay with you forever. I can't wrap my head around, and I can't process. If I can't process and get my head wrapped around what I just heard, excuse me, I can only imagine what you. That last story is bugging me out. Oh, I got to take a shit. Keep it cool, keep it classy, and I love you. Stay happy, my family.